All right, let's dive into something that is completely changing the game for creators, AI video. We're talking about a world that is moving at lightning speed, and trust me, it's rewriting all the rules.
Just think about this for a second. What if you could bring any scene, any character, any wild idea from your imagination to life?
And do it all without ever touching a camera? No crew, no expensive sets, none of that?
Yeah, exactly. This isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. This is happening right now. And that image you're looking at? That's a still from a video made entirely by an AI. The only input? Just a few lines of text. Welcome to the new reality.
So the big question is, why all the buzz right now? Well, we're at this incredible turning point. The tech is finally getting good, like really good. And it's completely flipping the script on how video gets made for literally everyone, from a solo YouTuber to a huge company.
And the numbers here are just, wow, they're staggering. According to research from Superside, companies using these AI tools are slashing their budgets by a whopping 80% and production time down by as much as 62%. Think about that. What used to take a week is now done in just a couple of days. The game isn't about who has the most money anymore. It's about who has the best ideas.
Now, it's easy to think, oh no, the robots are taking over, but that's not the right way to look at this. The best way to think about AI is like your new creative co-pilot. It's the thing that handles all the boring, tedious stuff, the grunt work. And that frees you up to focus on what you're actually good at, the story, the vision, the big picture.
Okay, so let's say you're sold. You want in. Where do you even begin? The number of tools out there is exploding, but it really boils down to two main paths you can take. Let's break them down.
So on one hand, you've got your commercial platforms. Super easy to use. You just log in on a website, no fancy computer needed. You pay a subscription, you get support. It just works. The trade-off is you have less control. Then, on the other side, you've got the wild west of open source. It's free, it's crazy powerful, you can customize everything, but, and this is a big but, you need a beast of a computer, and you got to be ready for a steep learning curve.
To make that a little more real for you, here are some of the big names on the commercial side. You could build a whole workflow with these. For example, you might use a tool like 11 Labs to create a super realistic voiceover from your script. Then, maybe you use Synthesia to pop an AI avatar on screen to deliver those lines. And finally, you pull it all together in something like Runway for some pro-level editing, like magically erasing a background with one click.
But here's the thing. No matter which path you go down, commercial or open source, the most important skill is changing. It's not about f-stops and shutter speeds anymore. The prompt, the text you write, that's your new paintbrush. It's your new camera. Being able to describe exactly what you want is the new superpower.
So what's the actual process look like? Well, Superside breaks it down into a few pretty simple steps. You pick your tools, you write your prompts, you feed the text to the AI, you mess with the settings. But here's the key, the one thing you really got to focus on, that last step. Review and iterate. Your first try is almost never going to be perfect. The real art is in tweaking, refining, and trying again until it's just right.
And that really drives home this point from Andra Thompson over at Superside. She says, and this is crucial, for more specific results, your prompt should include detailed guidelines. You can't just be vague. The AI is incredibly powerful, sure, but it can't read your mind. You have to spell it out.
So, how detailed are we talking? Just how specific can you get? Okay, get ready for this. Check out this absolutely bonkers prompt someone fed into a top-tier open-source model. A Victorian lady in a lace gown, a wilting bouquet of roses, a half-open jewelry box spilling pearls, a parrot squawking, a dinosaur grazing in the garden, her butler wearing a superhero cape. It's just wonderfully absurd.
And boom, the result is just absolutely mind-blowing. Look at this. The AI actually understood almost all of that crazy, contradictory stuff. You've got the Victorian lady, the lavish room, the pearls, and yeah, clear as day, there's the butler in a superhero cape and a dinosaur just hanging out in the garden. That, right there, is the power of a killer prompt.
Okay, so seeing that, you might be thinking, I want that power. I want to do that on my own computer. Well, to do that, you've got to step into the open source frontier. This is where the hardcore DIY stuff is happening, where a whole community is just pushing the envelope every single day.
But I gotta warn you, this path is not for the faint of heart, or the faint of wallet. Just listen to this user from the Stable Diffusion community on Reddit. They said, I have just recently purchased an RTX 4070 Super for my desktop, and pumped up the RAM to 32 gigabytes total. So yeah, we're talking serious hardware. You need a powerful graphics card and a ton of RAM just to play in this sandbox.
And a command center for a lot of these DIY creators is a platform called ComfyUI. Now, it looks kind of intimidating. It's this node-based system that looks like a giant flowchart. But what it does is give you insane, fine-grained control over every single part of the process. You can mix and match different AI models, create your own unique workflows. It's the ultimate tinkerer's toolkit.
And what kind of stuff does this community come up with? Well, they make things like this. Yep, that is in fact an AI-generated video of Will Smith eating spaghetti. This thing went viral for a reason. It shows the bizarre, surreal, but also incredibly realistic results you can get when you put these powerful tools into the hands of the community.
Okay, but with all this incredible power comes some pretty serious questions, right? It's not all fun and games and celebrity pasta videos. We have to take a minute and talk about the pitfalls, the very real challenges that come along with this tech.
So we have to ask ourselves, is this all just creative magic? Or is there a darker side to this revolution that we as creators need to be really aware of?
And there are some big ones people are grappling with right now. For starters, copyright. Where did the AI learn to make this art? It was trained on tons of images from the internet, and that's a huge legal gray area. Then you've got misinformation. These deepfakes are getting so realistic, it's scary. The AI can also pick up and amplify biases from its training data, creating stereotypes. And finally, sometimes the AI just makes stuff up. It's called hallucinating, and it's where it creates something that looks totally real but is completely wrong. These are the new conversations we're all a part of.
But even with all those challenges, you just can't deny that the road ahead is incredibly exciting. The speed at which this is all moving is just insane. The tech is getting better and easier to use practically every single day.
And get this, just look at that number. Not long ago, researchers figured out how to train a top-of-the-line video model, we're talking commercial grade, for just $200,000. Now, I know that's not exactly pocket change for most of us, but it's like 5 to 10 times cheaper than it was just a little while ago. The trend is undeniable. Massive power is getting way cheaper.
So that's where we are. We've looked at the power, the process, and, yeah, the problems. But the bottom line is this. The tools to build entire worlds are not just for Hollywood studios anymore. They're for you. They're for us. So the only real question left is, what story are you gonna tell?